All right, let's get right into this. We're going to look at how a nation with this incredibly ancient, deep culture is using technology that feels like it's from the future, all to save its most priceless and, most fragile heritage, the stories that were never even written down. For hundreds of years in Oman, history wasn't something you'd find in a book. It was literally in the air. It was carried in the stories of seafarers, told in crowded markets, or in the legends whispered around a campfire out in the desert. This oral tradition, it was the living, breathing heart of the entire culture. And here's the real problem, right? In a world that's just flooded with high-def video games, streaming shows, and endless short-form videos, how does an old, spoken story even begin to grab the attention of a new generation? How does it survive when its audience is so used to seeing, not just hearing? Yeah, this contrast really lays it all out. On one side, you've got the oral tradition. It's spoken, it's something you do together as a community, and it's temporary. It exists in the moment. And on the other side, digital media. It's visual, it's instant, it's super high def. These are two completely different ways of experiencing the world, and they're basically fighting for the same attention. So the risk here isn't just that these incredible stories are going to be forgotten, it's almost worse. It's that they'll just become a fading echo, irrelevant to a generation that really lives and breathes in a visual world. So what's really at stake here? Why do these stories matter so much? Well, they're Oman's cultural compass. They are, for lack of a better word, the soul of the nation. And listen, these are not just simple little fables. We're talking about these rich, detailed tapestries that tell the history of Oman's power on the Indian Ocean. They explain the deep spiritual meaning of the frankincense trade, and they really capture the incredible resilience it took to survive in the desert. But here's the most important part. Embedded in all of these stories are the nation's core values: coexistence, wisdom, and tolerance. They are the living links to the past. So the people in charge of Oman's culture, they saw this happening. They knew they couldn't just record these stories and stick them in an archive. They had to make the past feel alive. What they needed was a solution that could act like a bridge between the ancient world of storytelling and our modern digital one. And that bridge, well, it's something straight out of science fiction: immersive 3D holographic experiences. This is where Oman is taking this huge, radical leap, merging its absolute oldest traditions with some of the newest tech out there. So what even is holographic preservation? Well, think of it like this. You take the original audio, the narration of a classic Omani story, and you overlay it with these incredible three-dimensional visuals that seem to just float in the air. It's not a movie. It's definitely not just a recording. It's this whole new kind of experience, and it's designed to feel totally authentic and, honestly, pretty magical. The whole point is to make history tangible, to make it genuinely exciting for an audience that expects to be wowed visually. It's all about meeting young people where they already are, in that digital visual space. Okay, so let me paint a picture for you. Instead of just hearing a story about a merchant ship on a dangerous journey, imagine standing in a museum and you watch a holographic dhow, a traditional ship, appear right in front of you. Its sails are filling with an invisible wind. You see these ghostly figures of sailors on the deck. All of a sudden, you're not just a listener anymore. You're a witness. But here's the thing. This whole hologram initiative, it's not just some cool one-off project. It's actually the next logical step in a much bigger, very deliberate national strategy to preserve all of Oman's intangible heritage. You see, this builds on things Oman has already been doing for years. They've already been documenting heritage, like the Albara, that's a traditional music and dance that's even recognized by UNESCO, and they've been using video archives for that. But using holograms for oral legends? That is a massive leap forward. You're going from just passively documenting something to creating these immersive presentations that have way more impact. With this whole thing, Oman is really writing a story for tomorrow. They're not just saving history, they're completely redefining how future generations are going to experience it. And in doing so, they're really positioning themselves as global leaders in this new chapter of storytelling. At the end of the day, this is a huge shift in thinking. Preservation is totally transformed. It goes from being this passive duty, just saving old things, into a vibrant, dynamic, and genuinely futuristic celebration of a nation's soul. And that really leaves us with a final thought to chew on. This technology, it provides a pretty powerful blueprint for other cultures. So it's worth asking ourselves, what unwritten legends and timeless stories from our own past, our own families, deserve to be brought to life in a holographic future?